Hello viewers, this is your Michael from Screen Reviews, bringing you a new podcast from my segment called The Boruto Review. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly in case you don't understand me. Also, I'll try to do my best not to break your heart during this audio podcast recording as well, not to cause any audio feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will contain your adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will change your adult language. Now, if you're over 18, then you just have to watch this audio podcast recording. So anyway, with this and everything else out the way, let's get into today's episode of Boruto. So basically, we start off, we see Boruto along with his father, Dr. Katsuki, Sharada Shikamaru, Sai and Sasuke watching the Costing Coast and using a summoning jutsu to summon these flames and trying to burn Jigen to death, or watching the broadcast watching the live fight broadcast off Otto's glasses. So basically, Otto was saying that all I did was to the reason why I did Walker did all this in the first week because to take down Itsushiki, take down Itsushiki. So basically, Otto explained all this cause, I wanted to take down Itsushiki, his kind is a threat to us all. So basically, he explained that all the terrible things that he did, hoping to carry over Jigen, and Itsushiki was to try to stop Itsushiki from reincarnating himself. So basically, after hearing Otto said that, Kawaki got pissed off and came running into the interrogation room and was about to do some real damage against Otto, who was tied to the chair, but lucky Sasuke was there to stop him and whatnot. So anyway, Naruto did not know that they were outside looking into the interrogation room and whatnot. So anyway, basically, cost it seriously. So basically, what's the point? We mean, so basically, otherwise, what do you mean, about how does killing Jigen stop Itsushiki from reincarnating himself? So basically, as you know, Itsushiki's people can what the Kalmaks reincarnate themselves through the Kalmaks, like Boruto's. But in the case of Kawaki, and Jigen, Itsushiki used Jigen's body to. Itsushiki's body was too weak, and he entered Jigen's body, and for Jigen he gave Karaki the Kamama. But since Jigen didn't really, technically, it's using Jigen more like a instrument instead of, like an instrument to, focus his power through. So basically, Jigen's sort of like a robot. It's kind of like a human mind puppet that Itsushiki is controlling Jigen's body and mind. He's not technically he's not fused with Jigen's body at all. So basically once once the flame, so basically Jigen was trying to, Jigen, Igosiki was trying to use the future to shrink the flame, was trying to shrink the flames of the summoning, but it was too late. Jigen's body was failing, and therefore Jigen's body burned up, and Ichitsuki started to show himself and show his real form after Jigen's body got burned up. And so basically, once that happened, the mark on Karaki's arm disappeared. So basically, Ottawa was saying that Ichitsuki used Jigen's body to get Karaki the mark. And so basically, like, basically he did not combine with Jigen's body. He was just using Jigen's body to use it, to throw his powerful and whatnot. So basically, technically, it's just he had to physically give, he had to physically give Crocky the mark. So basically, since he used Jigen's body, and when his Jigen body was killed, the mark disappeared. So basically, that's the whole explanation. That's my whole explanation. So basically, like, in order to get a karma mark from Ichitsuki, or any of his other clan members, they have to physically give it to you themselves, or if they use anybody else to give a person a karma mark. If that person dies, that karma mark, that karma mark gets moved to that person. It gets moved to that person. So basically, like, once Jigen's body was burned to death, the Karaki mark on his hand disappeared, and Karaki was normal. But Ottawa said that, but still, but there's a downside about this. So basically, by doing this, so Jigen's body is by doing this, Ichitsuki is now fully recovered now. It's fully recovered now, and basically he can still get Karaki the karma mark himself. Now Ichitsuki is back. Is back in his full body now. So anyway, basically, Otto was explaining that that Karaki is still a powerful vessel for Karaki is still a powerful vessel. So basically, Ichitsuki is still interested of making Karaki his vessels. In case he dies, he still wants to make, Karaki his vessel. So basically, once Ichitsuki is done with Kachi and Cousin, he's gonna come here and do some real damage. So basically, now there was told everybody to to evacuate the village, in case Ichitsuki shows up. Anyway, meanwhile, Caution comes in, so basically Ichitsuki, basically expected out, gave Caution a sample of his powers, and therefore the feed of the fight between Caution and Ichitsuki was cut off completely. So anyway, so basically it was just, Naruto couldn't see the transmission of the fight between Ichitsuki and Caution Kozen. So anyway, Ichitsuki, using a shuriken juice, struck short costing Koji's mask and broke it, and he realized that, oh, so costing Koji, you're a clone of Jiraiya. So basically, if you already know this, if you don't know this, that costing Koji is Aro must have got some of Jiraiya's DNA and made a clone and made costing Koji from Jiraiya's DNA. So basically, that's why he can use Vizenga, and he was able to pass through the Henry's bear to, chakra centers not being detected and all that shit. So basically, Kachi Koji and Izushigi started to go at it. Even though Kachi Koji went tradesman and, was, holding up a good fight against Izushigi, but basically, without Izushigi's powers, he was able to pin down one of Kosen's arm when Kosen tried to hit Izushiki with a Rasengan. So basically, when Kosen tried to hit Izushiki with a Rasengan, he managed to took one of the giant stone pedestals and used his powers to pin down that arm that he was using to do a Zenya, which it tried to hit Izushiki with. So basically, with his arm being pinned down to a giant stone pillar, Izushiki that like basically has Cotton Curse, had Jiraiya's clone, aka Cotton Kojin, at his mercy, and Izushiki say, oh, well, enjoy this moment, this is where your life will end, and this is how the episode ended, with Izushiki staring down at Cotton Kojin, with his arm pinned by a giant stone pillar, and Izushiki threatened to end Cotton Combs' life right there and then, and that's how the episode ended. So anyway, I read this chapter and watched this episode. It's a lot of people. A lot of people are a bit mixed, have mixed feelings about this, about the chapter this episode is based on, but a lot of confusion over the common mark and how it's transferred, how over this episode and the chapter that this episode is based on. But this episode was good. This was a good episode. Confusing episode, but a good episode. So anyway, what do you guys think about this episode? Was it good? Was it bad? Or was it just okay? Please let me know in the comments of this podcast. So anyway, like always, this is your Michael from Ski Views. Sign off. One.